So if somebody in Port Franks wanted to get rid of their Port Franks Community Center, we don't have a fee structure there either, so they can technically go out onto the playground with our permission and do that. Is that correct?
That location is, they have to meet the requirements of our outdoor event policy. So if any fees are established through there, they would have to pay.
Is this something we should look at?
I think, thank you for you to bring hit the nail on the head. I mean, the green space between each pine, if you're on wood, if I want to go and reaffirm my vows, you're not going to charge me for it. It's a public easement, it's a public land, and that's what this is. So it's not structured, it's just a patch of ground that we own.
All in favor of the motion? Carried. Thank you. Report 81, future sewer expansion area update. Asking for direction on some questions on page 60. Report starts on page 56.
This is an excellent report, Grant. Thank you. A lot of digesting. Bottom line for me when I read this was it's as simple as this: master plan isn't moldy and dead. So would it not be easier to make an addendum at the end that said that current things that happen and through these three things, a certain moratorium on certain aspects of this are now in abeyance for a period of time? In other words, reality struck, and there it is. And then you wouldn't have to go through the 9 hours of reviewing 1,000 ways from nowhere, and we would then be supporting, as we go, continue on with this recalcitrant federal government we deal with what we have to do, right? Go forward. We would be halfway through something saying, oh, we're going to revise this to this extent. That was, at the end of it, that's what I came down to.
Yes, it all depends on the scope of the update that you want to make. Something as simple as, for example, teaming up the master plan with the current proposed timing of the projects is probably something that's as simple as an addendum. But once the scope gets beyond that, we're getting into a territory where the consultants that I spoke to in preparation for this report felt that it would be more appropriate to have a full update be created so the master plan is done correctly. The other important factor is that even without an update, a master plan is in effect voluntary document. There's no requirement to do it. So there's nothing that holds to anything that's in the master plan right now. That's the first step to lay out the plan. The second part of it, and the part you actually are the individual environmental assessments that do come out of it.
So the answer, roughly speaking, is yes.
Well, the answer, roughly speaking, is technically you don't even need to update the master plan. It's a 30-year horizon, but still roughly within that.
So, but to add an administrative historical addendum to it just to relate to future council, would that be a wise move?
I think so. At this point in time, I'm not comfortable giving you a full direction. That's why in my report I asked those questions of what the intent is. If that's what council's true intent is, it won't be much for me to go back, discuss this again with my consultant, say this is what it is, this is the scope. Do you believe that it is appropriate, and how much is it going to cost?
This is where I've never met a consultant who turned down work, so that's number one.
That's right.
I've done, there's the 2005 or 2006 service master plan for Lambton Shores, Blue Water, South Huron. Here's the revised master plan for sanitary sewage for Lambton Shores. This is where we get confused. So we have a sewer master plan. It's very, very simple in my humble brain. This council gave direction, 6-step phase. We didn't say we're doing away with sewers. We didn't say we're never going to have sewers in zones 3 and 4. What we said was we're going to do due diligence, 6 steps. So 6-step meaning if we, beyond irrefutable proof, we need sewers in zones 3 and 4, we prefer a gravity feed system. That's what we said. South Pines has already started with step 2, I think, and 3, with the University of Waterloo. This is simply, as Councillor Russell indicates, an addendum, a record, a fact, or statement, so that when we move on to the official plan, we have a historical revision to this one that says in 2012, this is what this council council director. And that just, to me, is common sense, and we don't need to spend $100,000 to do that.
Councilor Bernadette?
Yeah, that actually makes all the sense to me too. I don't think it's necessary to pay money unnecessarily at this point. Just an administrative addendum as opposed to an official amendment to it is sufficient at this point to satisfy some of the
Councilor Scott?
I'll make that correction, shall we? Addendum.
just administrative.
Administrative.
That's.
Are there any questions? Is all the questions or just the first three?
Questions in this report?
Questions, question 4 and question 5. Questions again. Need to be addressed.
Councilor Underwood?
I understand that it's very important for people around here who are very anxious over the last 5 years about the Grand Bank area. I don't want West Bank to fall off the radar here simply because we're focusing on one part of the cow. You know, there's the whole rest of it there as well. Right? So, I mean, if anything needs to be done and changed, and anything like that, to the West Bank is the reality of the day. I'm just worried about where we're going with this.
Councilor Russell?
I would think the answer to Marty's question is exactly no, because in fact it's part of the master plan and it has to be included. I think you're correct about your concern.
Councilor Watson?
We're not deleting, we're not revising, we are revising to update, not deleting, we're not changing scopes here, other than to say that until there is proof, that proof could come next year. The University of Waterloo research could say, hey, there's the proof. You guys need to look at sewer collections. That could happen. If that's the case, hopefully we'll have a sewer plan in place by then. Then we look at that and say, okay, we need to do it, so how do we get it done? There's no timeline for this. It is simply, this municipality, if anything, has been negligent in not complying with the 5 steps. It's been South Scott Pines has led the way. I don't know where we are. We met with the University of Guelph, and then we just kind of went into a black hole somewhere. So we need to get our act in gear. We're going to take this seriously. It's a multi-million-dollar project. Let's take it seriously. And let's work with South Scott Pines, and let's look at those 5 steps, and let's get to the truth here. That's the bottom line. So this is simply reflecting a council decision. These 5 questions are excellent. None of them are relevant to what we need to do in my humble opinion.
With all due respect, I think that what council is intending for is number 1, which is to tee up the timeline, reflect the current situation.
Well, we have no timeline. We're just saying, we are, if you'd like to put in timelines, I'd agree with you. I'd love to see those 5 steps.
And something they all forgive it, but I need very clear direction of exactly what council wants. So if you could explain to me what you mean by administrative addendum, what are we adding to the document? If we're not adding the current timeline of the phases, the first 20-year phase, the second 20-year phase, what are we adding to the document?
My understanding is the decision that we made last year, correct, last year, the 6 steps from the ad hoc sewer committee.
These are the recommendations from the ad hoc committee.
Right. Be reflected in this document. That's it.
That's what I mean.
Right. That's it. So it's not, we don't get it lost, and then 2014 comes along, and either there's a majority of people who are re-elected who understand what's going on here, or we have 9 new people that have no idea, and they look at this thing and go, where are the sewers? That's all I'm saying. It needs to be continually updated to reflect reality. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so you're asking that we bring back an addendum to reflect this.
Yeah, exactly. To reflect the decision that was made in 2012 by council with regards to this plan.